You know that feeling when your car starts riding like a pogo stick? Yeah, you take it to a mechanic. But have you ever wondered what really happens in that workshop? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the official guide the pros use to fix something as complex as your car's suspension. Okay, let's get into it. We've all been there, right? That awful bumpy ride, the clunking noise every time you hit a speed bump. It's such a common problem, but the fix is a whole other level of expertise. It's way more than just swapping out a part. So what does it actually take to make that ride smooth again? And this is where the answer is. What you're looking at isn't just some dusty old manual. This is the AURLT105. It's the official blueprint from the Australian government that every single professional technician has to follow. Think of it as the national standard for fixing suspension systems. It's the rulebook that guarantees quality and safety no matter where you go. So here's our game plan. We're going to walk through that blueprint together. We'll look at how they prep for the job, then the detective work of finding the problem, what goes into the actual repair, and finally, we'll uncover the skills that, well, they're the ones that really make a great technician. All right, first things first, before a single tool is even picked up, the real work starts. This is the setup. It's all about meticulous planning, laying the foundation for the entire job. This is all about strategy, not just brute force. Just look at this process. The first 4 steps are all about thinking. First, they have to fully understand the job requirements. Then they go on an information hunt, sourcing everything they need for the diagnosis. After that, they analyze their options and build a strategy. And finally, and this is so important, they assess all the safety risks. This is all happening before they even touch the car. It's pure brain power. Okay, with a solid plan, it's time to find the real culprit. And this isn't guesswork, not at all. It's a systematic investigation. The mechanic basically becomes a detective. And the car, well, that's the crime scene. You know, the official process means they have to run very specific tests, dig into the results to find the root cause, not just a symptom, and then confirm it. Only then can they develop a formal recommendation for the repair. It's a methodical hunt for evidence. And this right here, this is the whole point. Look, pretty much anyone can spot a broken part, but a true professional following these guidelines has to figure out why it failed in the first place. Was it a defect? Was another part causing extra stress? Getting to that why is what stops the problem from just happening all over again. So, the diagnosis is confirmed. Now it's time to head to the operating table. The hands-on repair is about to begin, and honestly, it requires the kind of precision you'd expect from a surgeon. And this gives you a perfect idea of the sheer depth of knowledge they need. A technician has to be a master of completely different systems. One minute they're working on a light, compact McPherson strut, and the next they're tackling a heavy-duty leaf spring system on a truck. Each one is a totally different beast. And the work itself? It can be incredibly high stakes. They have to follow the manufacturer's specs to the letter. And can you imagine dealing with parts under massive tension, like those high-energy springs? One tiny mistake, and it's not just the car that's in trouble. Then, after all that, they have to run a whole new battery of tests to make sure the fix is absolutely perfect. So we've seen the planning and the physical repair, but what is it that really defines an expert technician? Well, the answer isn't in that big red toolbox they roll around. It's in the toolbox inside their head. That's right. The official standards are crystal clear about this. The most critical skills are what they call foundation skills. These are the mental tools that power everything else they do. Let's start with numeracy. This is so much more than basic math. A technician has to take incredibly precise measurements, calculate tolerances, and spot tiny, tiny deviations from the factory specs. We're talking about a level of precision where a single millimeter can be the difference between a perfect alignment and tires that wear out dangerously fast. And then there's this one, planning and organizing. Seriously, every good mechanic is also a project manager. They have to map out the entire job, decide what to do first, and make sure it all gets done on schedule. They're orchestrating this whole complex repair so you can get your car back when you expect it. And this might just be the most fundamental skill of all, reading. But we're not talking about reading a novel. We're talking about the ability to find, organize, and interpret these incredibly dense technical documents. Being able to understand these blueprints is the bedrock of the entire repair. If you get that wrong, everything else that follows could be wrong too. So you see how all these skills come together for the final steps? The job isn't over just because the car is off the lift. Nope. There's a final, rigorous inspection. The workspace has to be cleaned, materials have to be recycled properly, and then there's the paperwork. All the documentation has to be completed to create a permanent record. It's all about total professionalism, right to the very end. So after seeing this whole official process, it really makes you think, doesn't it? The next time you see a mechanic at work, what are you really seeing? Are you just seeing someone fixing a problem? Or are you actually watching a detective, a surgeon, and an engineer all wrapped into one, solving a complex puzzle that just happens to be made of steel?